Coming up on show 638, a tax boost for company car EV drivers, Lexus's first EV, and Rivian proud of their quad motors. Those stories and many more coming up on today's show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, the edition for Monday, the 11th of November. It's Martyn here. Been through every EV story I can possibly find on the internets, and have whittled them down to the really important stuff because I know you're busy, I know you're snowed. Here is what you need to know. Thank you as always to myev.com for helping make this show. Maybe it's been a while since you checked out the website. I should say, by the way, if you're in the USA and you're in the market for buying and selling an EV, maybe you're a buyer, maybe you're a seller, maybe for now you're window shopping. I love a good bit of window shopping of an EV. What's my favourite thing to do? Probably going on to myev and sorting it in order of price descending. Start with the really posh stuff and dream of cars I'll never afford. myev.com if you're in the US, check it out. Now let's talk about Lexus. I've mentioned this story before. Let me update you with some new information. Lexus announced that at the upcoming Guangzhou Auto Show, which is going to be November 22nd, we are 11 days away from it, Lexus will unveil their first ever battery electric vehicle, according to InsideEVs. Well, the Japanese brand, of course part of Toyota, starts with a battery electric vehicle envisioned for the Chinese and European markets. Of course, the company is owned by Toyota, the company that runs adverts saying we choose not to plug in. I don't know how they're going to charge it, because Toyota is the company that makes self-charging hybrids. They are the ones that choose not to plug in. They don't believe in plugging in their cars. Maybe they have invented a magical way of charging the car without actually plugging it in. I mean, we've been told for so long now, we don't believe in plugging in our cars. They run TV adverts in this country, Toyota do, with chargers covered in cobwebs. They really do diss the EV community. They hate us lot. They love their self-charging hybrids, though, which is funny because there's no such thing. However, now they're making a fully battery electric vehicle. Just as we said for so long, if you run TV ads telling people you choose not to plug in, you don't believe in battery electric cars, the minute you release one, and by the way, you are always going to have to, Toyota, good luck with your hydrogen cars, the minute you release one, you look like idiots. Obviously, there are lots of very good, nice, wonderful people working for Toyota, but somebody sack the marketing people. It's always a terrible idea, wasn't it? And now they're finally releasing full battery electric cars. Just wanted to remind them, yes, we have had to suffer your ridiculous TV ads for so long saying, we choose not to plug in. You're going to have to, I'm afraid. Well, the car coming from Lexus, specially crafted to suit the needs of China and Europe, further advances the brand's desire to offer what they say is a portfolio of electrified powertrain choices for audiences around the world. The introduction of a pure battery electric car was inevitable as the Chinese government requires automakers to collect or buy a certain amount of credits, NEV credits, New Energy Vehicle credits. Looking forward to seeing what Lexus have come up with. I'm genuinely open-minded. It's water under the bridge. Let's forgive and forget, and let's move on if they genuinely make a great EV. Or if Toyota, through Lexus, decide to make a compliance car, a shoddy attempt at saying, hey, look, we've got a full EV, while still trying to flog you cars which spew out poisonous pollutants at the back of their exhaust, as all cars do. If you're burning fossil fuels, then maybe we won't be such big fans of it. Right, let's move on. And from four wheels to two wings, NASA presented an early version of their all-electric passenger aircraft. It's called the Maxwell X-57. That just sounds like a very cool plane already, the X-57. The electric aircraft is based on a twin-engine prop aircraft in which the combustion engines have been replaced with not one, not two, not three electric motors, 14 Electric Motors, who said that electric flight was easy, not me. The first test flight is scheduled for 2020, according to electrified, where there are 6 smaller motors mounted along the leading edge of each wing. To improve lift during takeoff and landing, the lift propellers will only be activated when required, and they're going to be retracted during flight itself. As my rudimentary knowledge of air travel goes as far as knowing that takeoff and landing are the difficult bits, and actually cruising at altitude is relatively not as difficult as takeoff. At the ends of each wing, there's a larger electric motor for propulsion during the flight when they reach cruising altitude. I'll pop a link to electrified in the show notes if you want to read more. The Skoda even. The Czech bit of VW, the Octavia, is the second model to come with a plug socket for the first time, a plug-in hybrid variant of the Octavia 4. I used to own a Skoda Octavia Estate. You know, the one the police drive. At least they do in this country. Anyway, the VRS. The really, really quick one. But it was an estate car, so it looked like a family wagon, and it went like stink. I loved that car, man. Come on, make an electric version of that and I'll be the first one in the queue. So practical, so quick. Now, following in the footsteps of the Superb, and if you don't know the Skoda lineup, I'm not being complimentary, they really do call one of their cars Superb. The Octavia, which is going to be the car they released just before the Fabulous and the Wonderful. The Octavia is the second Skoda behind the Superb to be available as a plug-in hybrid. The powertrain has a petrol engine, delivering 115 kilowatts and a 75 kilowatt electric motor to make a total of 150. Well, the battery capacity, they're giving in amp hours, which is a weird thing to do. That's something that only BMW have been doing thus far. 37 amp hours. It's 13 kilowatt hours. Lithium-ion battery does 55 kilometers on the WLTP test cycle. Pretty standard stuff for a plug-in hybrid in the world of 2020 cars. A quick mention for Tesla. They have unveiled the first ever Model 3s made in China at the Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai, and they've been giving media test drives of the vehicle. Well, Tesla's been expected to focus on Model 3 production at Shanghai for so long now, where it wants to make as many as 3,000 vehicles a week next year, according to recent Teslarati reporting and picked up by News18.com. As for Electrek, well, their take on this story, as they previously reported, the start of production is a major milestone since it's going to be the first EV factory wholly owned by a foreign automaker on Chinese soil. And it's Tesla's second EV production factory, even though it's Gigafactory 3, because Gigafactory 1 is what makes the cars in Sparks, Nevada. Gigafactory 2 is Buffalo, New York, and they're the ones that make the roofing and the solar products, and therefore 3 is China, 4 will be Germany. Well, it won't definitely be Germany, but it'll be Germany, won't it? I mean, it's not confirmed. It could be anywhere. It'll be Germany, won't it? I'll pop a link to electrified in the show notes if you want to read a little bit more. Big news, actually. One of the reviews from somebody who drove this Chinese-made Model 3, who actually owns a US-made Model 3, said the quality was better. The Chinese one was better. My take on that would be, if they're going to make, 1 car, 5 car, 10 cars, and give them to the media for reviews, you're probably going to run an eye over them first, aren't you? You're going to be like, did you check that car that we finished making? No, just give it to the media to review. It'll be fine. Did you tighten all those bolts? Yeah, well, probably. Look, they're going to have made a handful of cars. They will be quality assurance. They'll be QA checked to within an inch of their life. I'm not saying the cars coming out of Fremont are bad. I'm sure Tesla will admit, they'll be the first to admit, probably, that they do have, at times, work to do to ensure consistent quality. There will be a few people listening to this who have picked up their brand new Tesla and had to say, can we get that problem fixed? And as all the stories I read on forums and stuff, that Tesla always do make it good, but sometimes at handover, the cars aren't always perfect. I'm trying to be harsh but fair. Fair but harsh. I'm trying to be fair. Right, let's move on. And let's talk about a brand we never talk about on this podcast, Alfa Romeo. Very sexy Italian brand, steeped in heritage. but not really in electric motors, and I'm sad to say won't be for a while yet. The Fiat-owned automaker needs to release electric models to keep up with their Japanese rivals, to satisfy the demand from buyers and indeed regulators as well, remain on the right side of the regs. Whilst it originally announced plans to electrify 6 nameplates, they have updated their product roadmap, and taking a look at it, there aren't too many batteries in this, I'm afraid. Taking a look at Autoblog's article about this, there is a car called the Tonale, Tonale, but it's Italian, so Tonale, I imagine. I don't know. Which was previewed by Concept Car earlier this year in Geneva, leaked online several weeks later. It's going to take Alfa Romeo into the plug-in hybrid segment for the very first time. So it's still a fossil gobbler, but it's got a plug socket, so we like it. The other car that they're going to make, it's down from 6 to 2 cars, by the way. The other car they're going to make is an SUV styly car. Again, it's going to be all electric. Well, it's going to have an electric powertrain, but it'll also come in fossil variants. Both of those will come in non-electric drivetrains too. The Giulia, because there's currently an Alfa Romeo Giulia and an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, they are no longer in line, and they're no longer in line to get any kind of hybrid technology. Okay, a couple more stories. Let's talk about this is important news. Company cars are important with EVs because, unlike your own personal car, company cars are more head than heart. Now, sometimes people get given a budget to get their own company car, in which case it's more heart than head. Well, then again, it's an economic decision as well. Other times, companies are buying their fleets. Now then, maybe a German fleet will want German cars, or a German company will want German cars on their company car fleet, but really it's about total cost of ownership, and it's about that bottom line. The German Bundestag today passed a new law which will further tax incentives for electric cars, says a translated article on cdu.csu.de. So, forgive Google translation. If employees drive zero-emission vehicles as company cars in Germany and the list price of the vehicle is under 40,000 euros, those employees will only have to pay 0.25% of the total list price as company car tax. Electrive adds that the preferential tax treatment for EVs and plug-in hybrids was introduced last year, meant to be for 3 years. Now it's through till 2030. On pure electric cars and hybrid cars, as long as they have a range of 60 k's or more and CO2 emissions of 50 grams per kilometre or less. Of course, and a purely electric drivetrain is the ultimate solution for all of that. Now let's talk about Rivian. There's a video online from the Fully Charged team where they look at the Rivian R1T, which is the truck. Rivian also making the R1S, which is the SUV. We are a few days away from Tesla's Cybertruck being revealed. Now, Cybertruck tends to be the shorthand slang term that we're all using because, let's face it, Elon Musk is using that phrase on Twitter. And Blade Runner, November, Los Angeles, all of those things coming together. The Blade Runner truck, him saying it's like a cyberpunk, Cybertruck. We know it's going to be happening either at SpaceX, near SpaceX, maybe towing something SpaceX-y. Throwing this out there, I won't be the first person to speculate. Some sort of rocket or a booster. Or maybe it'll be exactly where they unveiled the Roadster out the back of the semi-trucks. They can use the airport, the runway there to do high-performance runs in the truck. We know Tesla's Cybertruck is, Elon's already talked about the 0 to 60 time being very important and being faster than a Porsche 911. So we know, and we know anyway, Tesla value 0 to 60 times, right? They're good at it as well. So, play to your strengths. Rivian, is my guess, have looked at it. Maybe they've realised they're going to be behind Tesla, even if it's by, 0.1 second. Second is, still first of the losers, as that phrase goes. And so they're really, really bigging up their quad motor solution. Rivian want to steal thunder from Tesla, and so invited the fully charged team to come and have an exclusive look, getting loads of publicity just ahead of Tesla's unveil. That is no coincidence. Trust me, I've spent a lifetime in media working with PR offices. The timing is definitely no accident. So everyone's talking about Rivian at the minute online on Twitter, and Rivian going really big on the fact that it will be an off-roader. And they've got 4 motors, an individual motor on each wheel. Rivian's technical design means they can do torque vectoring, says Brad at Electric. And Rivian's CEO, RJ, said this in the video. It can do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, but what makes the vehicle unique is the way we control torque, not just front to back, but left to right, instantaneously coupled with the ability to adjust the roll stiffness and damping frequency. You can have a vehicle that instantaneously goes from something that's incredible off-road to something incredible on the road. I'll pop a link to Electric in the show notes if you want to read more. Watch the video online. Everything fully charged does is just mind-blowingly brilliant these days. And so, watch the video. My take on that is that Rivian they've got all the money from Amazon and Ford. They don't need to prove themselves, but of course they need to sell trucks and SUVs. And so they've gone big with it being useful, off-road, commercial, farming, that kind of stuff. So we'll see how Tesla respond. And that's a phrase we don't use very often. Tesla are the leaders. Tesla have always come first. They've always led the way. Now, after this unveil, they will be revealing their truck second, really. And so we'll see what they do, how they respond to this. Rivian clearly going, look, forget 0 to 60. It's all about 4 motors, an electric motor. I don't know. So how many times can an electric motor react per second? Hundreds of times a second? Thousands of times a second? But that instantaneous torque being the big thing they're playing up. It's really, really good for the EV industry. I love watching this as I try and be agnostic between the different people. So for me, I love watching this. This is so exciting, man. Can't wait to see what happens in 2020. Okay, question of the week. Brand new question to set you this week. If you had to pick one upside to driving an EV, what would it be? No, you can't pick 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. If you had to pick one upside to driving an EV, what would it be? Email me hello@evnewsdaily.com or leave a comment on Facebook and YouTube. There are 254 patrons of this podcast. Thank you. You're dead nice to me. If you want to join the club, I would love to invite you to look at Patreon. It's a website you can support creative endeavours, singers, songwriters, poets, podcasters. Patreon.com/EVNewsDaily. Thank you to my premium partners, as always, Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby, and Avid Technology. If you would like to get any of the previous shows, 637 of them in the archive, new ones come at you first and free and automatically. If you can leave a little review online on Apple Podcasts, goodness me, it makes a huge difference. Other people see it. They see what you've typed. If you leave a little star rating. But I know you're busy. I'd really appreciate it if you could. Say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. Catch you soon. Remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.